Hello, everybody. My name is Ashley, also known as Colorado Killer Queen, and I am so happy you're here with me today for my second ever Friday Fright review. Before you do anything else, please take a moment to look down in the description box below and get the information for my beautiful, wonderful partner in crime, Katie, with Popping the Popcorn. I'm going to have all of her social media links down below, so make sure to check out her review this week and every week and all the other videos she does, because she does a ton of stuff and she just pumps out great content. So make sure to go check her out. But for now, let's dive into this week's movie, which was 2016's Train to Busan. Now, I have heard of this movie and I am shocked that I'm just now seeing it, because I feel like I've been hearing more and more about it, even though it came out in 2016. So that's one reason why I chose this one this week. It's been on my watch list and I really needed to see it. So Katie and I discussed doing virus movies this month is our theme. So why not start with this one? I'm going to be very terrible and have to tell you to go to Google and Google this movie and look up the director, the writers, the actors. I'm not even going to try and pronounce their name. I just don't want to butcher them. So go check them out so you can see who they are. Otherwise, let's look at the storyline. So a father and his daughter board the KTX, which is a fast train that should bring them from Seoul to Busan. But during their journey, the apocalypse begins. Hey, what do you know? Luck. And most of the Earth's population become flesh-craving zombies. While the KTX is shooting towards Busan, the passengers fight for their families and lives against the zombies and each other. So I found some really cool fun facts. Katie actually inspired me to do this, so thank you for your awesome idea, Katie. But I just wanted to pull up a couple fun facts I found. So let's see, this is an article talking about 10 fun facts. So we got, apparently there's a short film made as a precursor to this movie, which I did not know about. It supposedly shows you what happens the day before all of this happens in the movie. So that would be cool to check out to see, what really happened. No big deal. Michael Myers just hangs out in my house sometimes. Okay, well, since he allowed me to live, I will continue on with my list of fun facts. So number 9 is this is the 6th highest grossing domestic film in South Korea. That's pretty cool to know. This film was the first live action film for the director. He normally does animations, so that's cool. Or fun, I guess. This movie became the first South Korean film to pass $1 million in the Singapore box office. So it looks like this was a very important movie for South Korea and their film culture over there. The word zombie is only mentioned twice in this movie. I actually don't even remember when they mention it, so, but only twice. This is cool. It only took them 4 months to make this movie. So that's a lot to do in 4 months. Granted, they are on a train most of the time, but still, that's a lot to do in 4 months. So that's pretty impressive. This is the first ever South Korean zombie film. That's super cool. It's also the most popular film in general to come out of South Korea. And it was the first South Korean film to reach over 10 million audience members in theaters. There's one more fun fact, but it's about ratings, and I will get to that later, so Hold, please. Okay, so I want to go ahead and talk about my personal reaction to this movie. Again, like I said, I've heard so much about it and I'm shocked that I'm just now seeing it. I love zombie movies. I will admit to you, they're probably the hardest for me to get through as far as horror movies go because of the human element. I am a very emotional person. I'm a very sensitive person. And zombie movies are just always fucking gut-wrenching. Like, stab me in the soul every time. So, that's what I was expecting. That's what you get. And that's great because it really wouldn't be a zombie movie any other way. There were quite a few characters in this movie that they focused on. However, I'm sorry, I'm getting blinded. This video is just like a hot mess, you guys, so forgive me. Nothing I'm doing is making it better. Okay, there were quite a few characters that they focused on throughout. I don't know their name. Partly, I don't even know if they said all their names, and even if they did, I don't know how to pronounce them well enough, and I don't want to be offensive, so I say that, then I'm going to follow that statement with, so I came up with my own names for them, and now that I'm saying that, they're much more offensive than me that's pronouncing their names. So, cancel that theory. But, so there's the father and the daughter, and their relationship is very strained. He does not make time for her. He's a workaholic on the stock market. So going into the movie, you start off with the train ride they're taking is to go see the mother, who the father separated with, I believe. And it's just a lot of friction already because of that relationship. The daughter doesn't really feel close to her father because he's never around. He isn't really sure how to relate to her because he feels guilty about that fact. So there's a lot going on in that relationship, and that continues to ebb and flow throughout the entire movie. There's Dude and his pregnant wife. Very creative names. I loved these two, especially Dude. He was awesome. He was just your perfect example of like a truly decent, good human being deep down. And I really just, you end up loving his character because he just sort of feels like, you know, almost the rock amongst everybody. So he's great. And then good old Fuckface, which if you've seen this movie, I know you know exactly who I'm talking about. This guy is basically the guy you hate in every zombie movie, that only cares about himself, that fucks everyone over, that ruins everything, that you just want to literally push off a cliff down onto a pile of zombies. But yeah, so Fuckface is I guess he would be the antagonist outside of the zombies of this movie. So he is around. So as far as the horror element goes, pause. My brother's calling me now. Oh my God, you guys. It's just like a mess. Okay, so as far as the element of horror, I really went into this movie thinking it was a horror movie. And although it has horror elements, it really is more of a thriller, an action thriller, and the director even notes that. So even though it is zombies, and normally when there's zombies, you think immediately horror, which again, there are horror elements. Zombies are scary as shit. They did great with the makeup effects, so yeah, that's scary as shit, always. But so yeah, I was expecting it to be a little more on the horror side, but that's okay. I ended up really enjoying it anyways. It was just a bit of a adjustment I had to make. And on that note, I also had to do that with the gore. Had worked up in my head that this was gonna be really brutal as far as the gore goes. So I was like expecting that and wanting that. I want my zombie movies gory, all the gore. And not that there wasn't any, there was decent, but just compared to other zombie movies and compared to what I thought I was going into, they definitely didn't deliver for me on that part. And maybe it's my fault for having expectations going into it, but like I said, I just like my zombie movies to be gory. So if I have one complaint about this movie, that would be the complaint, is that they should have turned that gore way up. But like I said, the makeup was still cool, so, and there was some blood, so, I've seen better, I've seen worse. Let's see, and speaking of fuckface, so this is another horror element that makes it hard for me to watch zombie movies, even though I love them. It's seeing humans act as monsters themselves when they're not zombies. You know, it's like seeing the true nature of some people, like fuckface. What people will do to each other in that type of situation when it's survival mode, like, we don't give a fuck who is around us. At least most people, I would say. I'd like to think I wouldn't be Mr. Fuckface, but you know, the fun thing about the apocalypse movies is you just don't know how you would act. Hopefully not like him. Do not be fuckface. Anyways, so yeah, it was good as far as zombies are pretty horrifying no matter what the situation is, but then to have the human element where you see these people acting like monsters who aren't actual monsters, that is where you start getting deep into it. I did notice one thing. There were actually quite a lot of shots of windows, because obviously they're on a train, which is another cool part of it, because it gives it that like suffocating feeling. So I did enjoy that this took place on a train. I thought that was a really cool idea. But anyway, so there are quite a few times where you see the zombies like packed into these train cars, and they're all like stuck up against the windows. And every time it just makes me think of Shaun of the Dead. Does anyone else get that feeling? Because that's what happens with me. Every time I was like, I feel like I'm watching Shaun of the Dead for that exact second. Okay, and then I have just a couple more things I wanted to mention. Then I'm going to wrap this up with ratings and let you guys get back to your Friday nights, or whenever you're watching this, whatever day you're on. So there was a moment of comedy in this movie involving Dude and the father. They were in a bathroom together. They were hiding, trying to go from one end of the train to the other, because they're searching for their people. And they're like hiding in the bathroom. The dude's phone just went off and alerted the zombies they were there. So that's why they had to go run into the bathroom and hide. And dude starts giving him shit about his ringtone. And I just found it so funny, because the guy gets like so offended by it. And it just seems so ridiculous and petty in this type of situation. Like, you're hiding from zombies and you're making fun of someone's ringtone, you know? And I liked that, because it shows that even in that situation, you know, we long for that, especially in that situation, we long for that human connection and that feel of being back to our normal lives. So that was a cool little insight that I liked that they put in there. So yeah, let's look at, I decided to start looking up ratings for every movie I review on several sources. So IMDb gave this a 7.6 out of 10. Good. Rotten Tomatoes, 94%. I think the audience rating was like 87%. That's really good. Letterboxd, 3.9 out of 5, really good. And I'm gonna go ahead with Letterboxd, except I'm gonna go 4 out of 5. It's not a perfect movie. Like I said, I think if there was more gore in it, I would, and horror, then I would have liked it better, possibly given it a 5, but that's okay. A 4 is solid, deserves a 4. It's an awesome movie. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. Come back here, talk to me about it. Go over, talk to Katie about it, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks for dropping in. Have a good night. Bye.